The rest of the story. Once upon a time, there was a pirate named Robert Edwards who got away with murder. I mean really, actually, literally got away with murder. The richest and most powerful merchant fleets of Europe were helpless against this English buccaneer. The British gallows posed no threat, for the notorious Robert Edwards had some powerful patronage of his own, a sponsor who made the seas safe for his piracy, and that influential co-conspirator was the King of England himself. That is, the king enlisted the services of Edward to prey on the vessels of rival rulers. And then one day, the king's marauder announced that he was hanging up his sword, retiring from the bloody business of buccaneering, and the king, out of gratitude for jobs well done, presented the infamous Robert Edwards with a land grant, presented him with a deed to Treasure Island, 70 splendid acres, free and clear, a retreat from the dangers of his profession past, a paradise wherein the scourge of the seas could live out his days at ease. Robert Edwards took the land, but changed his mind. He got back in his ship and sailed for the horizon. But before he set out upon new adventures that would comprise his last, he leased his royally bequeathed Treasure Island to two brothers, John and George, with the understanding that when the lease was up, the land would revert to Edwards' heirs. Now, that brings us to the rest of the story. Among the earliest memories of Dolores Shupe, S-H-U-P-E, is a tale often told by her grandfather, an exciting yarn about a pirate who lived 2 centuries past, who came into possession of Treasure Island. Buccaneer Robert Edwards was a relative, Dolores was told. She was directly descended from him, and of course that meant that she, the little girl, was among the heirs who had rightful claim to Edwards' paradise. All she had to do was to go there and raise the pirate's flag. Well, Dolores has done just that. Grown up now, she has contacted the other surviving heirs of Robert Edwards, and they are legally represented, and they are headed for Treasure Island. The brothers John and George, who held the lease in 1778, were not particularly impressed when they arrived to look over the property. There was some flat land that might have grown some things. There was some swamp, but Dolores Shupe and the remaining descendants of the king's buccaneers don't care about that. What each wants is his own private stake in Edward's paradise. Each wants his piece of Treasure Island. And with 70 acres, there are plenty of pieces to go around. The authorities relevant to their claim are saying, oh, but that was a long time ago. The Edwards heirs are saying, what's ours is ours. And if that is so, it's something you should know. For although the notorious pirate Robert Edwards was indeed a British subject, his ownerships of the land the king had bestowed on him were not disputed when at last that property fell under the jurisdiction of the newly United States of America. And so it is said nothing obstructed the inheritance of that vast plot upon which is built the World Trade Center and most of Wall Street and more. Yes, I do mean to say. Dolores Shupe, S-H-U-P-E, of Greensburg, Pennsylvania, and her relatives just may be the rightful owners of the 70 prime acres of Treasure Island, which you call Manhattan. Only now you know the rest of the story.